Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at something old, pretty old. This is an old Micronta / Radio Shack True RMS multimeter. This little box, this is a model 22-175A Micronta multimeter. Purchased from Radio Shack. We can see Radio Shack right there on the bottom. It runs on batteries, since we have it upside down. It takes 6 AA batteries, has 2 fuses, has a set of spare fuses in it. It's got a little handle. It's very light, and it does a lot. This was probably the first serious digital multimeter I ever got. Pretty sure before I had this, I had an analog meter from Radio Shack. Radio Shack has always been the kind of go-to for hobbyist people. And I remember thinking it was a really big deal when I got this. It does AC/DC, volts and amps. It's an auto ranging meter, but you can also manually range it. It will do resistance measurement and continuity. It will do diode and capacitance testing. It can show you frequency or dBm. It will do min-max. It will beep. It has a hold and relative measurement functions. And it does transistor HFE, which is transistor gain. So all in all, it's a pretty capable little meter. And I've had this probably longer than I can remember. And it still works. Don't really use it, but I keep it around, I don't know, nostalgia. Sounds good. So I thought, let's just take a little look at it and maybe compare it to something modern in the same, let's say, relative category, and we'll maybe compare it to this this Unity meter. This is a Unity. This is a 31E plus, 20,000 count meter, and can I put the backlight on? There we go. And it's a good meter. I kind of use this as my general go-to grab, multimeter, mainly because it's sitting out on my bench. I have a bunch of others. I've got a Fluke 87. I've got a Fluke 27 FM. I've got a couple Fluke 70 meters. I've got a whole bunch of meters. We all have a whole bunch of meters. But this is the one that I generally keep out, and I'll grab when I need it. But let's look at the Micronta meter for now. So this button toggles microamps, milliamps, amps, and volts. This toggles AC and DC. So I'm going to take my AD584 Chinese voltage reference and see how this meter is looking after all these many years. I have not calibrated this meter. I've never gone in there and tweaked anything with it. It's as it was the day that I purchased it. So in the 10 volt range, it's reading 10.04 volts. It's probably a little bit high. Let's bring the Unity over here just so that we can compare it. Unity is reading 10.006. I do know that that is much closer to what the little voltage reference puts out. So Micronta meter is reading a little bit high. We're down to the 2.5 volt range. 2.504. Probably should be more like 2.501. And if we look on the Unity, we get 2.501. So I'm suspecting that the Micronta is out by about 30 millivolts or so. 505. And I'm expecting this to be like 5005, 5001. So yeah, the Micronta has drifted a little over its, I don't know, 40 years. Yeah, 40 plus, maybe close to 45 years. That has been kicking around in my basement and on my workbench and whatnot. So let's look at some, we'll do a quick current measurement. I'm going to hook up to my HP 6205C power supply. And it limits current to 0.3 amps, and so it usually spits out 0.358, 357, somewhere in that range. And the Unity meter is showing 0.3565, which is good. If we put this in amps range, .352. Well, it's respectable. I wouldn't complain about that. And I could go through more stuff with it, but like I said, I just wanted to take a sort of a quick look at it here. Yeah, it's drifted a little over the years, but not dramatically so. Which, quite honestly, is kind of a credit to Radio Shack's equipment. So one thing that this meter does, that a lot of these cheaper meters do, is that they do transistor HFE. Most meters like this one, if we look here, you need to put things in collector, base, emitter. You need to put things in the right pins, and, right leads in the right pins, and for the right type of transistor. Interestingly, this one, HFE, doesn't have the pins labeled, and it actually will figure out what leads are what leg of the transistor. So if I put it in HFE mode, and I slip a random transistor in here, give it a minute, let it think. I think I need to, there. It figured out it's an NPN transistor. The leads are emitter, base, collector. And it has an HFE of 183. So given that this is, like I said, maybe 45 years old, it's doing the same type of transistor checking that one of these little gizmos do, where you just plop it in there, put the leads in any order you want, and it tells you what leads are what type of transistor it is, and what the HFE is. So long before the whatever the hell processor they have in this thing is, this little box could do that too, which was kind of a big deal, I think, back at the time. You know, there were transistor checkers, but you needed to know, you know, type of transistor, which leads were what, in order for it to check it. So pretty cool. And I think the, we'll just take a quick look. The other nice thing that this did, if you look here, resistance, diode, capacitance testing, it actually had little slots to put your component in and test them out. So if I grab a capacitor here, this is what is this? Can we read that? I can't read it. But that's what we have the check capacitor tester for. So let's put this in capacitance test mode. And slip that in there. This is 11 microfarads, and the box I took it from says these are 10 microfarad caps, so that looks pretty good. You know, again, 45-year-old piece of test equipment. And not professional test equipment either. This is, you know, this was Radio Shack. So like I said, I don't use this anymore, but I do keep fresh batteries in it, and I do like to every now and then take it out and just see that it's still running. So let's pop it open, because everybody likes to see what's inside. See what fills up this rather large box. I'm sure if I look around, I still have the original test probes that came with it. Not that they're anything amazing. 1, 2. It's 2 of the screws. There's 3. There's 4. There we go. All right. Let's take the top off of here. See what wonders await. And it is basically an empty box. We have a little piezo beeper there for the continuity checking. The battery seems to be divided into a 6-volt and a 3-volt situation there, or is it? Nope, actually, it looks like it might be. They set up a center tap in that, so not sure. But here's the board. It definitely looks like an old LCD display casing on there. We've got a handful of discrete components. We have 2 trim pots here that still have their goop holding them in place. If we look down inside here, we can see that the front panel jacks are soldered directly to the circuit board here. The circuit board is all connected to this front panel. And the chip we have is a TRC 6001. TRC, I'm sure, stands for Tandy Radio Shack, or Tandy Corporation Radio Shack. This is probably a date code of 1992. Oh, sorry. Help if I put that on camera. Here we go. So, vintage-wise, I guess we're looking at 1992 for this. So, 92, 2012, 22. All right, not 45. It's 30 some odd years old. I thought it was older than that, but still, you know, 35 years old is still pretty old for what is arguably a piece of consumer electronics. Here's our current shunt. You know, I mean, it's not... This is not a piece of high precision test equipment. I mean, there's no shielding. It's all plastic. It's from Radio Shack, which a lot of people will tell you, tells you everything you need to know about it. But Radio Shack was the go-to place for hobbyists. I mean, they always had a wealth of parts available, and if you look online, you'll see that they had lots of test. They had lots of test meters, lots of analog meters, some handheld digital multimeters. Some of their analog meters resell for a fair amount of money. They had FET front ends on them. The analog meters were quality pieces of equipment. I'm not going to say this one isn't, but I mean, by most standards, I mean, there's like, if you look, there's like no input protection on this. So, you know, they say it's rated to 1,000 volts DC. I would not feel confident plugging this into house current or running 1,000 volts through it. But quite honestly, if you're getting started and you needed a meter, this would probably still serve you well. So that's it. Little look at my, like I said, my first real quote-unquote serious digital multimeter that I ever got. And it still works. So props to Radio Shack for what has proven to be a surprisingly robust design. Questions, comments, put them down below, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.